Texas Tech versus Arizona State. Texas Tech coming off of some pretty significant wins here. The number one team in the Big 12 facing off against the reigning Big 12 champion in Arizona State. How do you see this one going down?
Texas Tech favored by 8.5 points on FanDuel. Blake, plain and simple, as much as Arizona State in the preseason was perceived to be one of the favorites, as we talked about, to win the conference, and they still can be in contention, Sam Leavitt's situation's not great. It sounds like they expect him to play. Doesn't seem certain. And if he's banged up, how well does he play? This Arizona State team without Sam Leavitt is abysmal. When they had Jeff Sims back there, they got smoked by Utah. Completely smoked by Utah. Texas Tech has been quietly one of the most dominant teams in college football. They are overwhelming teams that they face off with because of the talent that they have along their defensive line. Romello Height, David Bailey are two guys that I constantly keep bringing up because they pair so well off of one another. I do not think that Arizona State is going to be able to slow them down. And I think more importantly, the emergence of Cameron Dickey as a key rusher for this team has made them increasingly more dangerous. 260-yard game against Kansas when they were having troubles throwing the ball. They are on a path like what we've talked about with Miami, where Miami, one thing's not working, they turn to winning in a different way. This is what we're getting with Texas Tech. If Behren Morton's out on top of this, Will Hammond may not have finished the game great against Kansas, but we have evidence that the kid can play, that the kid's got an arm, that he's got great instincts. Blake, I think that this is going to be very favorable for Texas Tech, and I might even strongly consider taking them to cover in this game as well.
When does Texas Tech get challenged?
I don't know if it's going to be this game.
I do think if Sam Leavitt's ready to go, I do think he presents an interesting challenge. You know, the one thing that Texas Tech, and I am going on a massive, massive stretch here, but stay with me. It's a massive stretch. I'm trying to talk about both this game being competitive by any means necessary. So stay with me. I don't agree with what I'm about to say, but just stay with me here. They're 41st in the country in passing yards allowed. Can they find with Sam Leavitt with Tyson and the boys, can they find any passing game whatsoever to keep them in this game? Because you're going up against the best run defense in the country statistically. You're going up against, let's see, the number one total offense, the number 3 passing offense, the number 2 scoring offense. Defensively, they're 10th in the country on third down. They're 6th in the country in scoring defense. They've done everything very well. The one thing that's not inside the top 15 for Texas Tech this year is they've given up yards on the air. Can you slow the game down? Stay with me. Can you slow the game down by throwing the football and being in front of the chains? Because I think that Texas Tech has given up some yards in the air, but teams have not been able to convert on them when it mattered most. I don't know. Other than a team that's more physically imposing than Texas Tech, these teams of the Big 12, they're more talented than you. They've been very well coached. Joey McGuire was in his press conference this week telling every 5-star defensive lineman and offensive lineman, why not Texas Tech? Well, they're building something here. They're just, Joe, every area, whether it be maybe even outside of quarterback, maybe, they're better than you than every area. Joe, this Arizona State team can run the football. They're 29th in the country in rushing, but they're going up against a team that nobody's been able to figure out how to run on them. The way that they mix up their fronts with the wide 9, 3-3-5, all the different things that Texas Tech has done, nobody's been able to crack this piece and crack this puzzle. Can Sam Leavitt throw the football at all? Can he move the football and stay in front of the chains? It's the only weakness we've seen from them so far. It's the only reason I bring that up. But, man, whether it be Hammond, but I do feel like Arizona State will be ready for that, and I don't think Utah really was. I just don't know right now if there's a team in the Big 12 that can keep up with them. Texas Tech and the Red Raiders are – I can't believe this, and I'm amazed that we talk about this every week, physically imposing people up front. That is the difference. They are running it down your throat, and defensively, teams don't have a prayer right now in the Big 12 to stop them up front. Joe, that's going to be the difference here. I saw Mississippi State physically impose their will at moments and times versus Arizona State. Now, I understand it's a completely different situation. I think Texas Tech can do the exact same. Does complacency set in at any point in time for this Red Raider team will be my only question.
I don't think that it will, and I don't think it will in this game. I don't either,
but I'm trying to find a way to say that they're not. Joe, every time we talk about Texas Tech, we're talking about the blowout that's about to happen.
And this is why that they've entered into a completely different realm. I do think, as you said, Jordan Tyson needs to have a really big game through the air. He's one of the most gifted receivers in college football, and with the quarterback issues that they're dealing with, it's kind of impacted their passing game. One thing that does incredibly bode well for Texas Tech with their newfound rushing dominance, not even success, dominance. Arizona State is 112th in the country in EPA per rush. They're giving up a lot of big plays to opposing teams.
Not a team that you want to face off against in the counter.
I think you brought up the Mississippi State game as a really good example of where they just could not have any success against what has been one of the more underrated, sneaky good run games in college football. And the same thing applies here for Texas Tech, where they've got a guy in Dickey who is a hell of a player who was leaned on when they needed to lean on him, and he gets a chance to do the same thing against Arizona State. I'm very intrigued how this game is going to play out. As you said, like, is there even a shot that Texas Tech gets caught off guard? Do they get caught off guard? Does something unexpected happen? I think a banged up Sam Leavitt going up against that pass rush, going up against trying to slow down Cameron Dickey, I think all these things are a recipe for disaster for Arizona State.
I do too. And listen, the only help that you have right now is Texas Tech beats themselves and you find a way to run the football on them. Joe, this Arizona State team can run the football. We've seen that. Can Sam Leavitt be a good athlete and run the football? I just don't think that they can impose their will up front at any given point in time. And this Texas Tech team's going to lean on them. I hate when we do games like this because, look, that normally means this game's going to be closer than what we think. But we've been saying that about Texas Tech for quite some time now, and it hadn't happened. Is there a team out there in the Big 12 that can compete with them? Because right now, I don't see it athletically.
No, absolutely not.
This Texas Tech team can go in the playoff and win a game, man. This is how good
they're saying it, man. Put them in your top five. Put them in your top five, damn it.
I'm not going to do – I'm not – all right, calm down now.
Put them in your top five. They better be in your
top five right now.
I already did. I already put my top five together for a video I did.
All right, well, who is it?
Miami, Ohio State, Indiana. Although I might put Indiana at 2 just to piss off Elks. At number 3. Number 4, I had Alabama. Number 5, I had Texas Tech. 6 is going to be A&M.
I'd still take A&M over Texas Tech right now. Because they have not faced a pass rusher like Cassius Howe. They have not seen explosive receivers like what A&M has. And A&M can lean on people.
I would argue A&M has not seen a pass rush like Texas Tech's. Yeah, we'll save that debate for tomorrow. Let's save this the debate.
Okay, sounds good. But they've also shown that they can go on the road and play and beat a team like Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. Texas Tech has not.
That's a fair point. It's a fair. Going on the road and winning at Utah is a pretty big deal, but we don't need to relitigate that.